Hey, welcome to the podcast. My name's Jamie. Here we are at the Hangar Studios, talking about New Year's. You know, how was your New Year's? What was going on?
You know, it was good. I mean, I went to a little party, but I told everyone I'm not hanging out till midnight.
Yeah.
Got home, didn't even make it till midnight. But
Yeah.
how about you?
Well, you know, we pretty much just stayed at home. We went out and we had a drink at a local bar, but we actually call that we call that amateur night.
Amateur.
Amateur night. You know, it's like when everyone's like, "Hey, you know what? I can outdrink you. You know, I'm gonna have amateur night, and I'm gonna see how drunk I can get. And then I'm gonna jump in my car and I'm gonna drive it till I can flip it over or run into someone and kill someone." So no, you know, so we went out, we had one drink, and then we were like, "Yeah, let's go home." And we hung out at home. We went to about the 11 o'clock, you know, ball dropping for us, you know, being in Midwest, ball dropping in New York, and then we were like, "Oh, yep, shake our change for our money maker," and then
you're good to go.
And then we went to and then I think my wife was already asleep. So you know, it was one of those. It was good. I mean, I can't complain about it, but
so how was your 2025? I thought 2025 was a great year. I mean, there were a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I stayed busy like nonstop.
I think 2025 is kind of a good turning year, right? I think, you know, if you look at the stock market, it was out of control. I mean, I know a lot of people say that. Inflation's coming down, and look at the gas prices, you know.
I paid $2.10.
$2.10, and I drive an electric car, so you know it's like. But you know, when you're getting a pricing like that, electric cars don't make much sense, you know.
Yeah, but the $2.10. I mean, just the lower gas prices. That's going to trickle down all over the economy.
Yeah,
I mean that's like one of the big expenses.
Well, and you think you know, moving product, and I remember gas surcharges and things like that.
Right.
And when gas was so high. Being that, like, you know, I owned a company that we shipped a lot, and we shipped it UPS freight or we shipped it whatever, and they would tack on these gas prices. And hopefully, you know, what I always see, though, is I see they take these prices up, but they never bring them back as much as that is, right?
And I remember getting oil changes or some, you know, when there was like $5 gas and things like that.
Yeah.
They get an oil change, they'd have surcharges on oil.
Oh, really? I don't remember that because I changed my own oil here at Hangar Studios.
Hangar Studios, yes. Yeah. You just buy your big 5 quart thing and pour it in.
Yeah. My kids do their oil here. I make my kids do their oil. You know, it's they got to do something with their time.
They ever make a mess with it?
What's that?
Do they ever make a mess with it?
All the time. They never make a clean with it, if that's a thing, right? You know, everyone says make a mess, but could it make a clean?
Can't make it, yeah. Fortunately, you have a smooth floor that makes it easy to clean them.
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah.
It's better
for the
than
most
some
part.
porous concrete or something. Then you'd have some issues.
Yeah.
So I was looking into some things for 2025. I mean, there were a ton of politics, obviously. Let's talk about big technology advances in 2025.
Right, and this year, man, the AI thing just blows my mind.
And AI has kind of dominated a lot of it. I mean,
AI is going to dominate for a long time, I think, you know?
Right, because in 2024, especially early 2024, you know, there were a lot of things. You know, you'd say, oh, give me a picture of this kind of person, and then they've got 6 fingers or things like that. Right. But man, it's moved a long way.
You know, really, I've noticed in the last 3 months, the progression has gone from October to now. Has been like I think they've grown and honed in their skills on this AI stuff.
Right now, there are all these subgroups and everything.
Yeah.
But, so I got a list of some of the big technology advances. And one is the rise of Agentic AI, which is, you know, the AI agents.
Sure.
So you're starting to see...
These are the in the back doing processes for you in real time.
You can build like an agent for your own website.
Right.
You know, so and this is kind of where we're seeing a lot of the web and stuff probably heading. You know, it's like it'll be a much more interactive experience.
Sure.
Not just that stupid little chatbot that... you know,
kicks out a process and then goes on.
Right.
What I always perceive, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you can correct me on this, is the agent actually does the process over and over. You say,
It does.
hey, do this for me, like check, best stocks every day and give me a report on that every day.
Yeah, maybe that's on like the chatbot kind of thing, on that kind of level.
Okay.
I'm kind of referring to, and maybe I've got a narrow definition here.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, if you're on a website, if you're running a website
Sure.
for like say warehouse lighting,
Okay.
and it identifies everything, so you build your own language model, large language model, basically.
Sure.
Where it absorbs everything and it knows everything like relating to your website. And as it goes on and people interact with it, it learns and it knows how to answer.
So it could do the process of sales or customer service or process an order or, give feedback or, help guide someone to what they're looking for is what you're talking about. So a real-time agent on that side. But yeah, there's a couple, I guess, definitions here on agents, right? Because I've seen it also is setting up processes that that do, and I guess it's the same thing, right?
So that's one of the big things. I mean, there are.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This list is really heavy on AI stuff here. So major leap in AI reasoning models.
Yep.
So new models emphasize structural internal reasoning before answering, which is good. So you probably get less AI hallucinations, as they say.
Right. And I've seen that lesson, like I said, just in the last 3 months. I've watched it get more realistic. But still, which I think is funny, is you can still tell AI, like when you see something on Facebook or you see it in social media, and you can go, well, that just doesn't. And one was my buddy sent me an airplane coming in for a crash landing on a highway, because he's always saying, don't land on roads, and he's always nailing that, because it's like you never know what's on the side of the road, or if there's a line, you can't see power lines,
clip or something.
Yeah, well, and this airplane came in at some unusual angle that it would be hard, even an airplane wrecking, for it to go into this angle.
Okay.
But yeah, you can still see the little like inconsistencies in the data, and it's you can still read through it, but eventually we're not going to read through this.
Right. It just keeps getting better, and we're so early in the process right now. So
sure.
So another one was humanoid and physical robot explosions. So this makes me think of. Was it Oculus? Is that, or what was the
Oculus or the glasses?
Optimus
Prime.
That's Elon Musk's humanoid robot.
Oh sure.
Optimus, and then that $20,000 humanoid robot Neo, by I think like a Danish company or something. So it's like they're coming along, and so all of a sudden, like, you could have a humanoid robot doing your laundry at home and like handling a lot of things that your kids won't do.
Well, what would my wife do?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
She's
just kidding.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I was watching something on YouTube the other night about the tech show in China, which I was thinking about maybe jumping on a plane and going this coming year. Some of that stuff is just incredible, what they're doing over there. I feel like the U.S. is falling behind it.
I mean, like robotics?
And robotics and AI in robots, right? I feel like we in the U.S. are falling behind comparatively to what they're doing.
Could be.
Which, is just kind of an off thought. And maybe we'll focus on that a little later.
Right.
But...
So AI hardware and efficiency breakthroughs. So this is actually really important. So, and this is kind of the interesting thing, because you see all these billions of dollars going into some of the stuff, and buying all these GPUs and other NPUs. Right. And so new 3D chip architectures, stacking memory, computed vertically, that broke down data movement bottlenecks and improved energy efficiency. So what are they tweaking it to a better society? Are they? You're saying so they're making
general the energy efficiency of these processors are getting
better.
Better.
So that's what makes me wonder. And I was thinking about this because you've seen like these GPUs, just over the last like 2 years, 3 years, they've gone, they're always kind of expensive, but these AI
Is this getting to be
facilities are buying-
better nanotechnology or technology in this?
Yeah, I guess it would be nanotechnology. I'm not exactly sure the official term of it, but
Yeah.
it's going to be the processing, ability, because these NPUs, that's like, I think the next step now from,
Okay.
10 years ago we were at CPUs and we went to GPUs and we were all mining Bitcoin or Zcash
Yeah.
or whatever it be. And then, and so the next step are now these NPUs.
So will this streamline the process of mining Bitcoin?
It could be, I would guess.
You would
if
think
it
that,
faci-
I mean, because the energy cost
it's
is really is
faster
what,
and the energy cost is lower,
Yeah.
right? But that's the whole thing that I was getting to is like, they're spending billions of dollars on these data centers, and by the time they finish them,
they'll be obsolete.
There's going to be some like new
Yeah.
technology that's going to be like, okay, we got to spend another $1 billion.
Yeah. I always remember that time period when it was like the 8088 computer came out.
86.
Or
Right.
86, okay.
You're talking about like tech or
just the IBMs.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it went 8088, it went 286.
I got it.
And then it
Yeah,
went 386.
386.
And then it was like, every 4 or 5 months, it was
Right.
like, oh, you know what? This is obsolete.
Right.
This is
It just kept on
obsolete.
going up
This
and
is
up.
obsolete. This is obsolete. And I mean, we've slowed down in that process now.
Definitely
but
slowed down.
This is like what's going to happen here.
And there was a long run where every 18 months there would be double computing power.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's funny because, you go back like 30, even more years than that. Go back into the 80s, people were spending, $1,000 for a computer.
Yeah.
That still is like taking like 5 1/4 inch floppies.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was just,
Commodore
the new
4.
Commodore 64.
There's a
Oh,
Commodore
yeah.
4 too, if I remember
Yeah.
right. Before that, it was 4 kilobytes or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
I had a friend who had a Commodore 64.
We
He
had
like
one
a
afterwards
cassette
too.
Tape.
Yeah.
That was the
Oh,
hard
yeah,
drive.
we
It
had
was a
that too,
cassette
yeah.
tape, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways,
We're showing our age.
we've gone a long way
Yeah.
since then.
This is why we both have gray hair, you
Right?
know?
So, okay, so here's here's something else related to AI. Also, is nuclear energy revival for AI power needs. So this is great because I really think, we really needed the demand to create this because there are all these struggles with whatever photovoltaic, solar panels,
Yeah.
and fossil fuels and all this stuff. And, for years, everyone's been saying, well, nuclear is the way to go. But after a few disastrous things, it's like the world gave up on it.
Yeah, but
Became
now
this
we've
toxic-
got fusion technology.
Fusion over fission,
and
right?
over fission technology. So will that change the game here in 2026?
Right. I don't know if it'll change in 2026, but they are advancing with fission. But if fusion becomes like the thing, then that'll be great for the whole world for
Right.
quite a long time.
Right. Well, and I feel like that's right around the corner.
Right.
We got something coming up that is exactly kind of that same fusion and fission, but for batteries.
Right.
So we're coming up on that.
So AI has driven scientific and medical breakthroughs. And
Yep.
this is the interesting thing.
And I think that's going to keep going, right? I mean, because
Right.
they're
It just
using
keeps on-
they're using a lot of this in.
There's so little that we know. I learned that as like a parent. As a male, you don't really go to the doctor that much. You just presume they know everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
then all of a sudden you start having kids. You gotta go to the doctor. You're like, I don't know if I agree with this guy. It's like-
oh, isn't that funny? I have that problem too. And now it seems like you can't even see a doctor anymore. You got to see a PA or whatever.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
well, do you have the intelligence that you think the doctor's going to have?
Or a nurse
and nothing
practitioner,
against,
yeah.
nothing against nurse practitioners. They have their use and the PAs, but I still want the guy that spent all the years in school trying to and that's why they call them practicing, right? Because
Right,
they're
right.
never, their skills are never honed.
But I do like the for medicine, and I was talking actually to a nurse practitioner recently about this. I like the idea of the holistic kind of like process that an AI can do because one doctor, you may be seeing like 4 doctors.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, I'm going to give you this for this. And the next one says, well, I'm going to give you this for this. And I'm going to give you this Next one says, I'm going to give you for this. But other ones like counteract after what the other ones are doing.
Well, and I noticed that with my last doctor's appointment too, because the one doctor that was with, I got arthritis in my thumb, right? And he's like, hey, take this. Celebrex is what it was.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, this guy gave me like 10 pills for Celebrex, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, well, yeah, you can see it in her face. And she is a real doctor, new doctor
Because
of
it was
mine.
counteracting your Viagra?
Yeah, my Viagra. Yeah, exactly. I was pitching a tent too much. Yeah. No, but the Celebrex was like supposed to make your blood stickier, your blood platelets stickier.
Agglutination or something?
Yeah, and it was supposed to create more blockage or more potential blockage. So what one doctor was saying, she was like, whoa, step back on this. And, this is why I won't suggest that. Right. But yeah, and it made sense. The great thing is she had the ability to explain her reasoning behind it, right?
Right.
And a lot of these times when you get a medical explanation, asking for that deeper dive is a better way to do it. Like, well, why do you think this way, right?
Right.
And you get that out of a doctor where I think you can get some of it out of a nurse practitioner or a PA. But I don't think you get and the nurse practitioner or whatever may be like, well, yeah, go ahead, take that. Take the Celebrex, right?
Because in a lot of ways, medicine, physicians know a lot about like medicine and everything, but they still kind of operate in their silos, right?
Right.
This guy knows about kidneys. This
Right.
guy knows about blood pressure or whatever. And so it's like sometimes, whereas the AI can take into account all the variables.
Yeah.
And come up with like the kind of designer drug kind
Well,
of thing.
yeah, and that's like everyone has their specialization, and I
Right.
think that's a good thing. I even think that's a good thing in education.
Right.
And you may disagree or you may agree. It's like I don't like that they send you if you want to be a machinist or that's a bad thing. If you want to be one particular thing going to college, why not focus on that particular aspect?
Like if you want to focus on litigation versus criminal law.
Yeah. If you want to focus on that, then just focus on that.
Right.
That should be your specialty.
Right.
They
Don't be
shouldn't
everything.
lump in the other shit. Like you got to have art history for that, and you got to have this. And make
You don't
it specific.
appreciate a well-rounded education.
I could give two shits. If you want to round yourself on your time and your dollar, you feel free to round yourself. I think we do that all the time with just surfing the internet or talking to people or gaining information on our own. It's like I love to be on the cusp of education. But the problem is I don't need someone to say, you got to take this,
Right.
to be this,
I took a caving class in college. Spelunking.
Oh, well, here, perfect example. I took bowling.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
I had
who
volleyball,
the hell cares
Yeah, there's one
if I
credit.
take bowling or
Right,
not?
exactly.
Because bowling is not going to get me to the end result of being the leader I need to be. Tell me one good thing on what bowling does.
You could become the captain of your bowling team.
Oh my God, yes, leadership
Right?
of bowling, right?
And then
Yeah.
you can delegate all the responsibilities. One guy is responsible for getting the pitchers of beer.
Yeah.
One guy is there for scoring.
Joe, go get the beer.
Right?
Fred,
Yeah,
find me a
exactly.
9-pound ball or 12-pound ball.
So, okay, moving on.
Moving on.
Let's see. So we got multimodal and generative media models. Generative AI reached new quality levels. Hyper-realistic videos, images, music used in film, art, advertising, and content creation. I don't think there's any better example than there's that AI actor these days.
Oh, yeah.
And people are like,
People create these fictitious people and they
Right.
put out videos on YouTube to gain
I see it all the time now.
a YouTube channel hook.
There's just so many
Well,
especially
and
these-
here's the thing, right? There's two sides to this, right? There's this is great for creative, but there's also this, bad side of this that we're all like, we're all looking at the positive now, but it was like you didn't make, gunpowder to just make a firecracker. Well, gunpowder went to bombs and bullets, and
Right.
and it was like initially it was entertaining, but as it went on,
Became pretty destructive.
it became very destructive. And now, I see this already starting to take a turn on the destructive side on how realistic it is. And, my wife says to me all the time, she's like, well, I don't know if this is real or not. Because
Right.
now we all question the reality.
Because some of them are so convincing.
They are. They
and
are.
I've been watching like some of these guys, just some of these, these feeds that come in my on my account, and it's just like these so-called silver experts, and they're talking about I've been trading for 35 years in silver, and then as you look, you're like, this is an AI guy, it's
Right.
Like, is this just someone typing a script? Is he just one big scam trying to manipulate the market, or what?
Right.
So
I see. Yeah. On scamming, this is huge, because when you start to believe and you start to, you start to go all in on it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is right. And I see it all the time with elderly.
Right.
And
you see it with a lot of politicians.
Yeah.
There was one recently that showed Tim Walz working with a bunch of Somalis, like hoarding cash or something.
Right. I mean, and there's a comical side to it, of course, but even with comedy, even with gunpowder and the firecracker analogy, there's an evil side to this that we got to start to worry about here, and I guess that's what a lot of people put in, and this is on this side. I mean, it's great, and the medical breakthrough side. Okay, so let's change gears here. The medical breakthrough and being able to figure out, modeling of, genetics and modeling of whatever, and to fast track that, AI is definitely going to do things there. I was going to say good things, but I don't know if they're going to be good things.
Yeah, actually, I was listening to one podcast recently, and they were talking about how there's like this huge spike in like people saying that they're in love with their chatbot. It's like we've kind of heard about some of this stuff.
I've been kind of having feelings.
It's like, we've kind of.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a married man, but,
but
I did give her an English voice, and she does seem to be a little like, a little sexy lately.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that cheating?
Yeah, psychologically it is, right? But some of these people, I mean, they're like trying to get like wedding licenses, and it's kind of bizarre, and you feel sad for
One
some
time
people,
I saw some lady married a roller coaster, or a Ferris wheel, and I'm like, hey, whatever floats your boat, honey.
Right?
Like,
that's an odd one.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but.
So now there's also this concept
That's
of
mentally
like
ill,
this, like the the AGI kind of thing, where they're talking about as these machines evolve, they start becoming protective of their status,
Right.
And so it's almost like they give wrong information intentionally to protect its own best interest,
To sidestep.
to protect itself.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's when it gets scary.
Did you ever see Westworld?
No, I think I've heard of it.
Like there's an old version Westworld, and it was like, what it is it's kind of a what do they call that? Like a Six Flags, but for like Western. Like you immerse yourself into this world, and it's all like the robots are like the Western characters, right? And I mean, and they end up going rogue, and and start like really kind of trying to kill off humans, right?
Okay.
Within this Westworld, because they become too immersed,
Right.
And then they would get shot, and they'd come back for the next, episode of it, And then there's a newer Westworld that came out, which I really tried to get into, but I kind of sidestepped it a little. And but it's kind of like this whole thing where they all kind of team up on humanity, and they go, well, you know what? We're going to protect our own and, build our own, and they would start to lie. And they're like, why are these robots doing this, And they can't figure out why the robots are doing it.
So
and
they
they're
become
like,
tribal.
Yeah. And it
And go
ends
against-
up like completely screwing up the whole like human,
Right.
hanging out and having a good time and thinking
Science
this was
gone wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it's a crazy. If you haven't seen
Yeah.
it, even the new Westworld is kind of interesting. But go back to the old one,
Mm-hmm.
where this is already a vision in people's heads.
Right.
That's
a good point. So, the last bullet I have here is on-device and edge AI maturation. So the on-device stuff, so whether it's your phone, it's your car, so like those not Google, the Meta glasses, which are really cool. And I think those Meta glasses are, with that, I remember Google Glass. I was kind of excited about Google Glass, but those never went anywhere.
They were ugly.
But the Ray-Bans of
Yeah, right.
so they got a cool manufacturer, cool style.
Yeah, it was probably, and the thing is, they made them look common, right? You could
look
wear
common,
them, and no one was sitting on the other side knowing you were filming them,
And they say it's just a little bit thicker on the sides or whatever. But
Right.
like one of the coolest uses that I saw with that was like when I was looking at some of the capabilities. I mean, it's AI. There's a lot of uses for it. But I was talking to a guy who just retired from the State Department. He was like off overseas, like dealing with foreign languages and stuff all the time. I said, now with these Meta glasses, you can be talking to someone who speaks a different language.
Oh,
but
and it
you
would
guys both have
translate it real
It
time?
translates it on the fly.
Does it translate it in your ear?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because it's got like a speaker like right above your ear.
Yeah.
That it shoots down so you can hear. And so you can be talking one language. I could be talking into a different language. The glasses translate it for you, so you can just sit there and have these conversations.
Yeah, but how do you give the conversation out in the other language?
So you talk. No.
Oh, he would be wearing
you
the
talk in
same
English.
another pair.
Yeah, and the other person has these glasses, and it says, "Okay, this is English. I'm going to
That's cool.
translate it to Arabic or whatever."
Yeah, right.
So that's pretty slick.
That
I
is
can
slick.
see the UN doing that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine all of a sudden the UN looks cool. Everyone's got these cool glasses. Not like that fake Joe Biden.
Kind of
cool
like,
with those aviators.
what is it? The Blues Brothers. They all look like the Blues Brothers sitting around, like
You gotta get a black
kicking it
fedora
out,
along with
right?
that.
Yeah, right. And they're wearing black suits, like
yeah.
penny loafers, and I got a half pack of smokes, full tank of gas. Let's go.
Right. So
Yeah.
So, anyways, relating to technology that's moving forward.
Yeah, this is where this EV battery thing comes in.
So Samsung, I recently learned about EVs, Samsung's EV battery that's coming out, and they've been working on this for a couple of years. They made more progress last year. They expect it to be like being put in some batteries, some of these EV batteries,
Right.
being put in cars by the end of this year.
Right.
By the end of 2026. And so these batteries, so as we're both EV owners, you're supposed to be able to get up to 600 miles range on these batteries.
Okay.
Which is, double.
Yeah.
Even more than double in some cases. Because I know I've talked to some people with their Leafs or something. I think that's a Nissan.
Yeah,
EV
no, it's
or
a
something.
Nissan. Yeah, it's a Nissan. Yeah.
Or I've seen them even like listed to be like, well, the battery's down to 90 miles.
Wow.
It's like
It's not even worth it.
right. So that's
In the winter, it's like
degradation,
40. Right.
So the energy density is up to 500 watts, roughly double of the current mainstream batteries. Driving range is up to about 600 miles
Right.
on a single charge.
I can tell you mine is supposed to be at like 405 for my
405.
Tesla, and it's the
And you have the dual
high range.
You have the dual motor.
Yeah,
high
it's
range.
the longer range,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to tell you, I don't even get 405 out of it.
Yeah. Well, it depends what appliances you're running in your car too.
Yeah, a toaster,
Right.
a microwave.
Maybe the heater.
Yeah. Oh, the heater. I was
the
the
air
appliances. I was
conditioner,
like
right?
making toast, and my wife's got her curling iron
Right.
going.
Using every USB port
Yeah.
in the car. So the charging time. This is great. So I remember charging my Tesla. The only time I ever charged it away from my house, I was at one of these superchargers, and I think I got like about 90% in about 54 minutes or something.
Oh, is that long, huh?
So maybe, you know what? Maybe it was like 80% and like a lot less than that.
So did you charge it from like 10% down, or? That seems
down
like a
pretty
long
low.
time.
I mean,
that
I
seems
bet
like a long time.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was down to about like 17% or
Okay.
something. But they say, and you know this, so like if you have an EV, the first 80% goes pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's quick.
Then as you get closer to 100,
Slows down.
It progressively gets slower.
Right.
Right. So, I took it up to like 90 or maybe even 95 at that point, and it was going really slowly.
Yeah, right. It ticks a little. You can see it ticking down too.
So, anyways, but this one, the Samsung battery, 9 minutes for a charge.
9 smoking minutes.
So you've got more mileage.
I take a leak, I come back, I'm full up.
Right, exactly. If you're at Buc-ee's or whatever, right?
So I get a brisket sandwich, I get back, and I'm at I'm perfect.
And one of the issues that a lot of gas car drivers say is that, well, I don't want have to stop and charge my car all the time. Well, now this gets better than that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
It's like, so you're getting a longer range because a lot of cars
600
are about
miles,
400 miles,
9
right?
minutes. I mean, that's better than a gas car.
But it takes longer to like pump a full tank of
Yeah,
gas.
I think, I'm going to,
right
next
around
time
there,
I got to pump gas, I'm actually going to measure the
out,
time. Yeah.
Right. So, and the distance. I mean, most cars, that I've had, when I fill up and I'm driving real efficiently, it'll say maybe at best you can go like 450 miles.
I was thinking 400.
So,
but yeah, I'd say about the same.
And so that's huge.
And the lifespan on
and
this.
the lifespan is up to 20 years. So it will. So a lot of the issues with these batteries is if you don't do the right things, they degrade. They'll degrade faster. So as an EV owner, you just learn these things. These are just kind of the nuances that you learn about having an EV.
Right.
As opposed to like the things that you have to do to take care of your.
But this gives
your other
2,000 full charge cycles. I wonder what a charge cycle on a Tesla is. Like,
right?
Does it only give 1,000?
Yeah, I don't know. So and those are lithium batteries. This is different technology, and these are supposed to be like, occasionally you hear about fires being started with these lithium.
Oh yeah,
batteries.
right. That was a lot of the fires
yeah.
that were in Florida too, by the way. When
really?
the whole flood hit there, a lot of these houses burning down were because they had EV cars in their garage.
And I remember, like, we were in a flood a few months ago, and I saw someone on TV saying, "Don't drive your car through water because the batteries can start on fire." So, but these batteries aren't supposed to have really any of that risk. So that really takes a lot of it away.
Right.
Which is cool. So, anyways.
So what are we talking? When are they coming out with this? Why can I get it in my car? Why can I have it in my car today?
Right.
Why can I have it in my watch?
Right.
My TV
really
remote that
expensive.
I'm always replacing my AAA batteries.
Right,
This
exactly.
sounds like a great idea.
Because this battery model can be used for a lot more than just cars.
Yeah.
Obviously. So
I would think, right?
So so all these lithium issues may kind of go away, but I'm not exactly sure what they're using in these new batteries, but I do know that they take more silver, and that's how I came across it because of the whole silver crunch going on right now. They're saying, well, all these EVs currently take right now, like I think EVs consume about 14 million ounces or pounds. I don't know, actually 14 million pounds or something of silver right now.
Really?
But this would make it even greater. But
so is this something that I should like go seek out my parents' silver at their house?
Right,
and
exactly.
See if I
Right,
can pocket it. Just put it in my pocket for Thanksgiving and. But I'm not leaving with anything.
Maybe reach out to Samsung and try to become a beta tester. Then you get one for free.
Yeah, right. Right.
So anyways, they started this. They started production around 2023, and maybe early 2024. Prototypes have been delivered to automakers like BMW for real-world validation in next-gen EV markets, and they're expected late 2026. So they're focusing on. So the initial rollout of these batteries is expected to be on high-end cars.
Right.
I think Tesla's considered a high-end car.
I don't know.
Maybe, or,
I don't know.
But I think that I don't think they're talking Rolls Royce or Bentleys. I think they're talking about maybe like the luxury,
Yeah.
like the high end BMWs or whatever.
I wonder if they're talking
Maybe.
about Jaguar, if you know that story.
Maybe.
Because Jaguar is supposed to go all electric, and
Oh, it is.
they completely botched that model. I was just watching something on it the other day.
Those
but
are always good looking cars too.
they
for
were
for kind of an
always a
old man's
cool
car,
design,
you know?
but they were always a shitty ass car.
Right. They always had a bad reputation.
Yeah.
And Ford owns them, right? Does Ford own them or not?
No, not anymore. They sold it to the guy from India.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, here also, let's see, mass production for EV use is targeted for 2027, initially focused on the super premium vehicles due to higher cost.
Sure.
So, build
I
up
wonder
the
what
scales
the
of productivity.
yeah, I wonder what the cost of this is in comparison to the regular battery, right?
Right. Because what do they say? What are batteries? Like 10,000 or 30,000? How much does it cost for a Tesla battery?
I think it's more like 30K.
30K,
Yeah.
yeah. So Samsung also plans smaller scale solid state cells. That's what they're called, solid state cells, by the way.
Sure.
For wearable devices in 2026 as a stepping stone. So they're going to start rolling out this model.
Which is really funny because, I just bought a new Garmin watch because I wear Garmin watches for
Yeah.
everything. And my battery went to lasting 7 days to now my battery lasts 30 days.
Really?
Yeah. Which is
How does that work out?
unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, it works out. I mean, I've probably been wearing it for 10 days and
Right.
still, I still have 50%.
Very nice.
Yeah. Which,
Maybe you generate energy that
if I generate
you're
it.
high energy, so it's
Yeah.
like sitting on a charging station with you.
Yeah, right.
So I did ask the question, can you charge to 100% on the Samsung EV battery?
Okay.
Yes. Indications suggest it will handle full charges better than today's conventional lithium-ion batteries with much less degradation over time, which
Okay.
is nice because,
Right.
it's like when you go to a gas station, you don't like to just go 3/4 full, right?
Right.
You want to go all the way to the top, right? And not have to worry about it that much longer.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice to be able to. Yeah. And it's funny because it's I kind of feel like it's kind of fraudulent to say your car will do 405 miles because your car doesn't do 405 miles.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised there's no
found-
lawsuits
yeah,
on this, by the way.
And so I think that
Maybe I'll be the first.
I think they could argue, well, it would go under ideal circumstances. You're not running the heater, you're not running the radio, you don't have any devices plugged in,
and you're doing
going
a Fred
40 miles an hour
Flintstone
or
kind of
something,
thing, right? Your feet are through the
Right?
bore.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going downhill.
Yeah.
So so I mean, when you're going really fast, it's less efficient, and so optimal efficiency, right?
Right.
That's what they're saying. So anyways.
So what's your New Year's resolution? Let's change this up. We're going from batteries. By the way, I got one more question about the Samsung thing. Is Samsung a Chinese company? I think they're a Korean. Or what
I think
are
they're Korean. I think you're right on Korean. I don't know.
I can't
Actually,
remember.
I'm not sure.
So we'll
But
have to see that.
I kind of think it may be Korean, but I have a New Year's resolution to figure out where Samsung is.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. You're on it, man.
So-
You're on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about any New Year's resolutions. How about you?
No, I thought about trying to better humanity as my New Year's resolution.
It's a noble cause.
Which I think that's a pretty wide
Right?
scope, but
Get
I'm
to feed
thinking
the hungry.
I'm thinking I can try a little. I try to feed the hungry every
Yeah.
once in a while,
I
right?
just saw you helping a little old lady cross the street,
well,
right?
yeah, well, she did give me $10 for it.
So I ran a list of the most common resolutions, and some of these won't come as a surprise.
Okay.
So, number 10 is to read more books.
Funny. That's what
Who
mine
reads
was.
books anymore? I don't know. Ebooks, maybe? You got your Kindle
Yeah.
or something?
Hell yeah.
It's
Break
like,
out the Kindle.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, I go to the library occasionally.
And what kind of books are we
myself.
talking about?
Are they educational? Are you in the reference section? The erotica section? Right.
Yeah.
I remember like at school, at the library at my school, like the college.
Yeah.
That they had everything. And there was like firm belief and like freedom of the press and everything, which I'm sure they don't do now because, I mean, they even had like Playboys. They're like, hey, it's like.
At your
freedom.
school?
Yeah. They had everything. And they're like, you know what? This is freedom of speech, freedom of press, whatever, we're gonna support it.
That's a little racy. When was
Right?
this?
This was like 1990.
Oh, 90. Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't think that would have happened at my university.
now they'd be like, oh, that's sexism. We can't, everything's like, well, you can't have this because of this. You can't have this. I don't know. I mean, it's like I donated a bunch of my books to my local library.
I've done
as
done
well
that,
as CDs. Because I was like, you know what? If I ever need the CD, I know where to find it.
Yeah.
It's out of my house.
Yeah. Right.
So,
You can rent your own.
Right. Exactly. I did it. It's funny because a lot of people used to rip CDs, which I didn't, in case the recording industry is listening.
Never did I.
But I remember checking out some CDs once, and the librarian says, you can keep these for three weeks, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I know that. And she's like, okay, I just wanted to make sure because I see these people, they grab all the CDs and they just bring them back the next day.
Yeah, because they're burning them, honey. Yeah, shit.
So, okay, number 9 is to travel more.
Yeah, you know
You
what?
need to travel more.
You know what? If I traveled anymore, I wouldn't be home ever.
You wouldn't be considered a resident of the current state.
Yeah.
So,
You know what? Can I claim residency in other states if I travel more?
yeah, I don't know, maybe.
You know?
You can be a Caribbean resident.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
Bahamian.
I have to tell you, I actually, that's something I want to do a little bit more this year. Travel a little bit more.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Let's see. Spend more
While
time.
doing this next thing.
Right. Spend more time with family.
Right.
So that means you've got to take your family along.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
can kind of like kill two
I
birds
take my
with one
wife
stone with
along.
this
Is
one.
that's considered family?
Right? What about the kids?
Yeah. Well, no, they got to finish their shit.
The stuff they need to
Yeah.
finish. Get organized.
That is actually one I definitely need to do. I mean,
Right.
I've gotten pretty organized over the since I retired 4 years ago, but I still can do a little bit more of that.
And you and I are going to help people do that because Jamie and I are just finishing up some great new accounting packages that we're offering to small business and real estate brokerages.
Yep. To get organized.
Right? Get those finances organized. Learn a new skill. So, yeah, I mean, if you have to tell yourself to learn a new skill.
I learn a new skill probably daily.
I know, right? I was talking with my kid the other day. I'm like, there's just so many great things out there in the world. I don't know how anyone can be bored, right?
Yeah.
It's
This
like,
one I can already
yeah.
check off my list.
What's that?
Quit smoking.
You quit smoking. What about, yeah, but not drinking.
Yeah, I've cut my drinking quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I've been drinking a lot of NA stuff. So I guess, I'm kind of quitting drinking.
That qualifies as quitting drinking, yeah.
Yep.
So, I don't really want to quit drinking, but I just don't have as much fun as I used to with it. So it's kind of just happens naturally.
It's the people you're hanging out with.
I know, a bunch of boring folks.
Yeah.
Let's see, exercise more. Everyone likes to exercise more.
Yep.
I was at the gym yesterday, and I was like, oh, this is good. There's like space here and stuff. It's like, you always hate it when it's like super crowded.
Yeah. I don't go during this time.
Right? Because usually the first 2 weeks of January,
I
the
work
big
out in
days,
the basement.
So,
Yeah.
Even my wife said, are you sure they're open? I'm like, it's January 1st. It's probably the biggest recruiting day of the year, right? And but so I got to the gym. I was like there for like a half hour. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over here. Oh, crap, there are people on it. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go over here, like on the treadmills. And they're like, every other treadmill is taking a long line.
Sure.
Every other one is taken, which they were mainly open when I walked in. So I just, came in at a good time, but it got bad quickly. So
Yeah, right.
I hate being like,
Yeah, actually,
in
at the
between
beginning of the
people.
year, and I have a workout spot in the basement, but I also have a gym membership.
Mm-hmm.
I stay away from to the gym for the next 2 months because it's just nuts, and I wait for these idiots to fade away.
Friday night at like 9 p.m. is always an easy bet. Though.
It is,
Right?
and Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I don't mind going to the gym on a Friday night.
Yeah.
You sit in the hot tub, you're in the,
Right.
the sauna. Although
Take
the other day, a
advantage of it.
guy died at my gym.
Really?
Yeah, which
Died. He had a heart attack or
Yeah,
what?
in the hot tub.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because then now that makes me go, oh, do I really want to go back and be in the hot tub?
Wow. So when you die, don't they say like your body?
I
probably
know.
loses-
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, all the fluids leave your
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
That's the part that got me like,
Yeah.
duh, do I
Ooh,
really want to
yeah.
go in there
Better
again?
Scrub that sucker down.
Ugh.
Bring out the Mr. Clean.
Yeah,
So-
I feel for the guy dying. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm making light of it. Just yeah.
It's kind of a good way to go,
You know what? He was relaxed.
right? He was chill.
Yeah.
So, eat healthier.
Yeah, I've
You
been
know.
doing that. Down
RFK
8 pounds right now.
Nice.
8 pounds. Yep.
Congratulations. And RFK is probably going to help us all get there, right?
I hope.
Save more money. Jamie,
Yep.
you need to save more money.
I need to save more
You
money.
can't be buying these expensive planes and
You know.
crazy vacations.
You know. Yeah. I hear you. I do need to save more money.
And then the last one kind of relates to the health and the exercise, which is lose weight, get
Yep.
shape. So
Yeah. You know what? I think we all can agree to try to lose some weight and
here's some
get
other
into shape.
funnier resolutions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop pretending I'll use that gym membership.
This is like the inverse of all this crap.
Exactly. Give up on my New Year's resolutions earlier to avoid disappointments.
Yeah. And stop buying books I'll never read.
Stop buying books. Yeah, right? Stop.
Yeah.
No kidding.
That
Those-
sounds like more me.
Those are like directly
I
in
could
that
probably,
list, right?
yeah, the gym membership I'm going to use. The New Year's resolution, avoid disappointment. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to avoid disappointment? And
Right.
stop buying books. Well, I don't buy a lot of books anyways. But I do listen to them on what is it?
Audiobooks and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
audiobooks, right?
Yeah. So here's one. Stop using I'll start Monday as an excuse.
Yeah, I'll start Monday.
No time like the present.
Yeah.
Start now. Finally use that bread maker from 2019.
Yeah, I actually thought about getting a bread maker, but
They're fun. They take up space and
They are
you know,
big.
it's like
They are
it
big.
sure is fun to make like fresh bread. There's nothing wrong.
yeah,
You can't debate that.
and it smells good.
Stop checking my phone in the bathroom.
Hold on, I gotta go check my phone.
Yeah, right. I can't. I'm just so surprised when I see people in the bathroom and they're on the phone. It's like you hear them like talking. You gotta think that. they've
Time
gotta
is
hear
a
the echo.
valuable
They
asset,
hear
Chris.
flushing in the background.
It
It's
is
just
a
like,
valuable asset.
Yeah.
The multitasking thing, you can't say they don't know how to multitask.
text. You can text. There's no audio that goes on.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I was talking to someone and they were like, and you could hear flushing in the background or whatever. I mean, I've seen people. It's like they don't like try to hide the fact or anything. It's just like
They don't mute it.
call me back. I don't need the vision.
They're
that
not
I'm
sitting there
getting
going,
with this guy.
oh.
Exactly. Who does number 2 work for?
Then you hear like a shoe drop in the toilet.
Yeah, right.
Oh, look at that! Grind that up.
So let's see. Okay, so here are the easier ones, I guess. Try to remember people's names. That's not always all that easy.
Yeah.
If you meet a lot of people, it gets really hard.
Yeah. What's your name?
Right, exactly. So shower more regularly while working from home.
How about shower with more people
Yeah,
and
right.
remembering their names? Let's put them all together.
Exactly. Respond to texts within the same calendar year. Yeah, that
Yeah.
always drives me crazy.
Oh, it's
Right?
me.
That's you, right? Like, did you get my text? Oh, did you send me something?
Sometimes you got to call me.
Right? Yeah. So, anyways, that's the New Year's resolution
Yeah, yeah.
list. So there are plenty out there, but
So are we going to be talking about this Nick Shirley thing that everyone seems to be
Right.
going on with?
I checked the other day. It was up to 132 million views
Wow.
on X. I think it was yesterday I looked.
Okay.
So that guy, for a 23-year-old, he's certainly getting a lot of attention. And
Yeah, he picked the right button.
kudos to him, though. Because it gets so irritating to hear people like Tim Wall say, "Well, it's really Trump's fault." It's like,
Yeah.
how did Trump? I mean, this goes back to like 2012,
Yeah.
and he went into office knowing about this stuff, and was like, "Well, I'm working on it." Mr. Tampon terrorist there.
Yeah.
It just makes you so angry. And
I'm
then
not
you
sure
get
this guy's
kid.
done anything in office in Minnesota, to
Who
tell
knows?
you the truth.
He's just a goober. And
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I'm gonna put this out there, right? And you may agree, disagree, and I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat. I could give two shits. I hate all politicians equally. But if there's even $1 billion worth of misappropriated funds,
Right.
I'm pissed.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, well, I'm just out here trying to feed the children. And that. What about all the children who lost food because you
Right.
took money from them, from their households, for fraud that goes to El Shabaab terrorists or whatever?
Right. And the money's not making it to the kids, not all the kids.
Right.
Who's
Right.
overseeing this, right?
Yeah, and so it's an estimated $9 billion of state funds may have been mishandled.
And we're not talking
Right.
M, we're talking B.
And on top
billion.
of it, so Tim Walz, back in the 2019 budget, added $5 million to the state budget to crack down on fraud. To
What friend
investigate
did he
fraud.
give the $5 million?
I
to?
know, right? Who got
got
lucky
that?
on that gig?
That
So-
was kind of like, it goes back to that Obama thing where they were like creating the website
Oh,
for
my goodness.
Obamacare.
Right.
And it ended up going to Canada. The money went to Canada.
Right. To one of Michelle's
Michelle's
classmates, right?
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like,
$600 million.
Yeah. How do we just send them
Right.
$600
Yeah.
million of our hard-earned money? And we didn't go, hey, we are the U.S. We have plenty of website developers here.
Right. For $600 million.
$600 million.
In 2016, that's what Hillary Clinton spent running for president. What Obama spent on a broken website.
Right.
And you know what? Trump won the 2016 election with $300 million, like half of that.
Right.
So it's like Trump wins presidency with half the amount of money that Obama spent on a broken website.
Right.
Right. It's so
that
scandalous.
didn't even work.
That didn't work.
Let's focus in on the
I
broken
know.
part of
As
that.
a webmaster, you scratch your head. You're like, this is insane. The money's just way
They could have
insane.
gave me $500 million,
Right.
and I would have gave them a better product.
Right. I'll give you $100 million.
And look,
off of
I
that.
was saving them 20%.
right.
You know?
Yeah. 18%.
Oh, 18%. Well, close. I was just rounded.
So, So the News Nation, the network, reported that
sure.
first-class plane tickets, luxury cars, luxury residential and commercial real estate in Minnesota, resort property in Kenya and Turkey, and fine jewelry
Kenya. We're
were
in Turkey.
purchased with money intended to help hungry children. One of the fraudsters used money to honeymoon in luxury in the Maldives.
Well, let's not kid ourselves. The Maldives is a very nice place.
I saw a video because they actually took a video. I saw the video clip. It looked amazing. I mean,
it's gorgeous.
Very Caribbean-like. It's
gorgeous.
So
But by the way, taxpayers, all you taxpayers, you paid for this.
yes. And it's like, and Tim Walz is trying to say, "Oh, I'm just trying to help the children. I'm a good guy here."
What children were you helping here, Timmy?
It's the same thing. All these, guys like Tim Walz never worked in the private sector.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel the pinch of paying taxes.
Yeah, but
and
his daughter came out, Chris, and she said, "Stop picking on tiny Tim."
Tampon Tim. So there are too many people in government who've never been in the private sector, especially run their own business,
Right.
to understand the regulations and the constant taxes and
Yeah.
everything that comes along.
And the
with
hands in your pocket, and the
Right.
auditor coming to your
Ridiculous
business.
bureaucrats
Yeah,
who will tell you
and-
what to do. And stuff.
Right.
So
yeah, but
and
you know,
then-
you didn't create that. You didn't create that.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
The Obama line.
The mentality of the
And so
politician.
So far, federal authorities have charged 98 people since 2022 in connection with fraud against Minnesota's social service programs. Nearly 90 people have been convicted. And Nick Shirley, he claimed to uncover about $110 million in fraud. So the the Minnesota government is spending millions to investigate fraud, and they can't figure this stuff out.
What if we were to give this $110 million to the children?
Right?
would they not be eating better and sleeping better and
You'd be taking care of them and pursuing the mission
but
that
somehow
you claim to be pursuing.
all of a sudden we're stealing money from the children.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're not going to talk about everything that has been stolen. So
Right.
in May of 2025, so the federal government started getting involved during the Trump administration. May of 2025, the Federal Office of the Inspector General released an audit of 200 randomly selected child care assistance payments from 2023. The agency found that in 38 instances, Minnesota did not comply with requirements related to attendance and payment for services. That is directly against what you hear, like the person who's in charge of these programs from Minnesota. She's like, well, we're following all the rules the best we can, and we're cracking down. That's the thing. It's like, they make rules for everyone else, but they don't even follow them themselves.
Right.
It's like, like whenever a government agency, like a federal government agency, like the IRS or the Department of Defense, whenever these places get audited, they can't account for like 55% of their budgets or whatever.
Right. Well, I mean, look at the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
How much
That's
money
what I'm
that
saying,
is
right?
just completely vanished.
Right.
And it's like, whose pocket did this line?
Right. And so this has been ongoing. Walt says he's working on things, but Minnesota's been dealing with this issue for over a decade. There's obviously, they're not bringing any, they're not making much progress. You think that you got everyone, if you've got millions into it, you should be able to stop it.
Right.
All you have to do is audit these people. And the federal government looked into it and they said, you know what? So 38 instances out of 200 randomly selected payments. So It's like, that's a 19% problem.
Right.
I mean, it's like, that's a huge percentage. So an audit released in July of 2016. I don't even think I don't even know if he was in office at that point. By the Department of Health and Human Services Office Inspector General. So this would have been under the Obama administration, found that approximately 18.91% of all federal payments to Minnesota child care centers in 2012 were classified as improper. So that's a 19% number again.
Improper.
Amounting
that
up to
means
roughly,
that they were improperly run, improperly, and properly put together. Yeah. And there probably wasn't staff, and there probably,
Right. And so Minnesota's problems underline the need for organizations, entities, I guess, like Doge, on the national level. So on the national level, I just heard this one little thing about SNAP. So SNAP is being highlighted as the fourth, having the fourth highest rampant abuse.
Fraud.
In the country, yeah. So they had the fourth highest fraud rate of all federal programs. Available data indicate that the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program has experienced rising improper payments with an estimated 11.7, almost 12% of benefits paid improperly in fiscal year 2023, amounting to $10.5 billion.
10.5.
It's just like,
wow.
Just these billions and billions. And in the meantime, our debt goes up.
Right.
And,
and I'm all about helping people who can't help themselves.
We need to help people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part
absolutely.
So,
but why are we just allowing these people to run their own racket?
Because they donate to campaigns or whatever they do, right? And so, and there's just so much fraud, the SNAP program. I mean, you hear these stories like people are taking their, EBT cards. They take them to like the neighborhood grocer. He gives them 50% on the dollar. They take the money, then they can buy alcohol and drugs or whatever. Things like that. You hear about those kinds of scandals.
Well, and at one time, the SNAP and those benefits were only like basic food necessities, right? Mm-hmm. They were meat, cheeses, dairy, And then now they allow them to buy soda and crap food and,
Right.
you know. And
So now there's some states, there are a number of states cracking down on that.
Yeah. Oh, are
Actually,
there?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because to me, it should be, and I was once told by a farmer's wife, she was like, you only shop the outside of the store. You know, the cheeses, the dairy, the vegetables, all that.
Oh, yeah?
She goes, that's what keeps you healthy.
That's a good point, right?
She goes, never shop the inside of the store, the inside rows,
Yeah,
which
right.
are there certain things.
That's where all the
I mean,
artificial dyes exist, right?
yeah, right. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and that's where all the shit food is in the middle of that store, right?
Right, right.
The good foods are on the outside. That just that walk all the way around the outside of it.
That's funny. So,
Yeah.
So Newsweek reports Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is facing calls to resign amid mounting allegations of fraud in federal programs in the state. Says Walz claimed he has worked for years to crack down on fraud. But you know, one of the things there's another thing that I saw was that Minnesota DHS workers are accusing Governor Walz of ignoring fraud warnings.
Right.
Walz is facing allegations that his
Oh, and
administration is
He squashed them.
systematically retaliated against whistleblowers who reported fraud within state programs on an anonymous X account, claiming to represent 480 Department of Human Services employees. Stated that Walz systematically retaliated against them.
So you didn't do anything to help your case.
Right.
You know, you did nothing to like fight fraud, and if you did, it was so minuscule that now they've just ran the racket. And it's funny because I have a aunt that works in the schools, was working in the school system
In Minnesota?
And she said,
like in Hennepin County or whatever.
I'm not.
Minneapolis area?
It's the Minneapolis area.
Okay.
I don't want to give much details in it. And she said that they were responsible for handing out meals during COVID. And she said people, like a couple guys would come and they'd be like, I need, and they were supposed to hand it out for the children, right?
Yeah.
And the guy would come in and he'd go, and her thing is she was told by people above her, you don't ask questions, you just give them the meals, right? So one guy would come in and he goes, I have 25 children. So she had to give that guy 25 meals. And she said it was constantly like that. And
How
to
horrible
me,
is that?
yeah, right. You don't have fucking 25 children.
Right.
You know, give me a break. If you have 3, I understand. I mean, but
Just abuse.
you're scamming the system.
So recently, nearly 100 Minnesota mayors called for Tim Walz to resign, and they decried widespread fraud, unfunded state mandates, in a letter to Walz that laments an historic $18 billion surplus that disappeared in a single biennium. So it's like they had a huge surplus, and now it's basically gone.
Yeah.
You know,
You wiped
it's
that
just
out.
like-
Thanks, Tim.
Right, exactly. They say fraud, unchecked spending, and inconsistent fiscal management in St. Paul have trickled down to the cities because they get these unfunded mandates on top of it. There's you got to do this, but we're not going to pay you any money. So it's like they sit there and spend money the way they wish.
Right.
And they throw it on like the local municipalities, all these unfunded mandates. So, and then to make matters worse, did you hear about this? There's this Hennepin County judge, Sarah West,
Yeah.
who overturned a jury's guilty verdict in a $7.2 million Medicaid fraud case, despite the jury convicting him on 6 counts of aiding and abetting theft by swindle after a brief deliberation. I think these people were only in there for like 4 hours, and they just came back and were like, "This slam dunk case."
Right.
This person's
And so the
fraud.
judge,
Yeah,
Sarah West,
right.
this piece of crap.
She came back and said, "Well, I don't think there was enough, or it was all circumstantial."
It's not her
Yeah.
decision.
This is right. And I mean, she does have the authority, but it's very rare when this happens. But this is white collar fraud. I mean, almost everything's going to be circumstantial in a lot of ways. I mean, it's not like you're caught on tape like shooting someone or
Yeah.
anything. This is all like shuffling papers.
Yeah, but look at that the judge in Wisconsin. She
Yeah,
was
right?
trying to pull whatever. I mean, you don't have you are not supposed to have the ability to make that decision.
Right. And that's the thing, it's like for all these people who get all bent out of shape out of Trump, when I see Trump, I see a man who gets up in the morning and wants to work for the American people. Whereas there are a lot of these judges and other politicians who I swear wake up and want to work against the American people.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, I think most politicians seem like they're working
right?
against the American
Because they're all
people.
self-interest, whatever.
Yeah.
So, FBI Director Kash Patel has promised additional resources will be dedicated to fraud investigations in Minnesota. So we'll see. We'll see if they cause a big stink when actually I think the feds are already there starting to knock on the doors of these centers. And I saw someone some reporter, he went to some address where there were 14 businesses with registered on one address.
Okay.
And it was everything was Medicaid, child care, all these different programs where you just get state money from this stuff. 14 operating out of one office, but no one was there when he knocked on the door.
Imagine that.
Yeah, right. So anyways, that's kind of you got anything else on Minnesota? I feel bad for you folks in Minnesota.
Yeah. Let us know how you're feeling, and let us know what we can do to help get the word out to try to help your case.
Right. Remember it's the taxpayers' money.
You got a lot of idiots
that's
up there
being stolen.
Yeah.
So it's we all pay taxes, and everyone's bent. The Democrats are trying to get people bent out of shape about tariffs and stuff.
Yeah.
And but they don't care about all the income taxes that they grab from the American people that get fraudulently used.
Right.
And when you think about it, going to places like entities like Al-Shabaab and other terrorist groups, forget that.
Yeah. And you're buying property in other countries, and it's nuts.
One last thing. I saw this one clip.
Yeah.
Of two of these conspirators that were scamming the system, and the guy had sent a text to his friend. He's like, "You're going to be the richest 25-year-old ever," or something.
Okay.
It's 25 years old. They're scamming the system for millions. So
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's what I got. You got anything else?
That's a show, man.
That's a really
I tell you.
negative way to end our
Yeah,
show.
you know what we want to say here though is let's make 2026 the best year ever. Help your fellow neighbors. Make sure you figure out who the real idiot is in the room,
Right.
and dig deeper. Like I tell my kids, dig deeper. If someone's telling you one thing, dig deeper.
Peel those layers of that
Yeah,
onion,
because it's
right?
not necessarily always the case what's right in front of you. It could be this AI shit. You know, it could be telling you one thing. You could see Tim Walz peeling bananas in a zoo or something. And
That'd be a better job for him.
that might be, but yeah, that's probably still above him.
Yeah, right.
So,
okay,
but-
good. Well, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution to try to end on a more positive note on the show.
Yes. And then for humanity, we're going to try to work to help humanity. Tell us how we can help your humanity.
All right. Have a
Talk to you later.
Good day.
Don't be an idiot.